On the big screen of the concert filled with purple light, two figures who had been the center of the universe of millions of hearts stood side by side, Jungkook and Taehyung. Their gazes were full of meaning, their smiles faint, but enough to make one stadium dissolve into sobs. No words to say. Only tears became the universal language of the evening. ARMY's true love for the two is like being exposed, flowing without boundaries between idols and fans, between two hearts that understand each other in silence. No one expected that the moment would be this deep. Amid the cheers, Jungkook's voice trembled as he said quietly, "ARMY, we've come this far because of your love. But sometimes I forget that love also means that you bear all our pain." Suddenly, the stadium was silent for a moment. It was as if it had penetrated the heart of everyone who heard it. Taehyung, who was standing next to him, patted Jungkook on the shoulder gently, and in a low tone he added, "And love it's not just about being happy together. But stay, even when everything feels heavy." The moment was proof that their relationship with ARMY is not just a relationship between artists and fans. It's deeper than that. There was a sense of caring for each other, of understanding each other, even when the outside world never really knew what they were going through. ARMY, which has been known to be loyal, that night showed the meaning of true loyalty, love that does not demand, only gives. They didn't want anything in return, they just wanted to see the two figures happy, no matter what. Many cried. Not because he was sad, but because he was touched by the honesty that emanated from Jungkook and Taehyung's eyes. Both seemed to open the veil that they had been keeping tight, about fatigue, pressure, and invisible struggle behind the grand stage. They were used to smiling to calm the ARMY, but behind the scenes, there were nights where the two of them calmed each other down. ARMY's love is not only for their music, but also for their courage to remain human in a world that demands perfection. On social media, thousands of tweets flowed after the moment happened. "I'm not just a fan, I'm a witness to the true love between them and US, wrote one Brazilian ARMY man. Another person from Indonesia wrote, "Tonight, I just realized, true love doesn't always have to be had. Sometimes, it's enough to support from afar." The phrases spread quickly, showing how one small moment can unite the hearts of millions of people from all over the world. For many, the relationship between Jungkook, Taehyung, and the ARMY is like a modern miracle. In an increasingly cold and busy world, there is a great community united by genuine love and empathy. They don't know each other in person, but can cry together for the happiness of two people they haven't even met in person. That is the immeasurable power of love, boundless, selfless love. Taehyung, who was known to be calm and gentle, was also unable to hold back his emotions that night. In one of the moments captured on camera, she gazed towards the stands and lowered her head deeply, her tears falling slowly. "I hope you know," he said in a hoarse voice, "that you two are a part of our lives. Not just fans, but family." The remark sparked a wave of tears throughout the stadium. Many hugged each other, trying to calm down in the midst of such electrifying emotions. Jungkook then approached, hugged Taehyung, and the camera involuntarily caught a sincere expression, watery eyes, a fragile, but warm smile. A hug that is not just for fellow members of the group, but also a symbol of gratitude to all who have been with them all this time. Behind global fame, huge awards, and millions of followers, Jungkook and Taehyung remain mere mortals, two young men who only want to be loved sincerely. True love ARMY is not about fanaticism. Not about screaming hysterically or buying all the albums. That love is in every warm message sent without expecting to be read, in the prayers silently offered every night, in the way they protect Jungkook and Taehyung from the hatred of the outside world. When rumors and gossip circulated, the ARMY was the first stronghold that stood up to defend them. When the two looked tired on stage, ARMY became the energy that made them smile again. That's how love works, invisible, but always felt. Every relationship has a test, and so does this relationship. There are times where the distance feels so far away, especially when BTS start going their separate ways for solo projects. Many soldiers admitted to feeling lost, fearing that the closeness would fade. But that night proved that nothing had changed. Jungkook and Taehyung are still there, with the same heart, the same love. They don't leave, they just grow. And the army remained in the same place, waiting faithfully. Now, after that evening, many say that the concert was not just a musical event. It became an emotional event that reunited the spiritual connection between BTS and its fans. All those present, both in person and on screen, felt the same way, that true love does not require physical closeness, only the connection of the heart. Jungkook and Taehyung have shown the world that behind the glitter of the entertainment industry, there is still room for sincerity. They are not just stars, they are timeless symbols of hope, resilience, and love. And ARMY, with a love that never fades, proves that true support isn't about who cheers the loudest, but who stays when the world stops clapping. When the concert ended, and the stadium lights slowly went out, many were still reluctant to leave. They looked at the empty stage and whispered, "Thank you for giving us reason to believe in love." And somewhere behind the stage, Jungkook and Taehyung may be looking at each other again, aware that they never walk alone. ARMY's true love has been the light that will always guide their steps, even in the darkest days. Love is real, sincere, immortal. And that night, the whole world witnessed that between Jungkook, Taehyung, and the army, no boundaries could ever separate them again. A few days after that concert, the virtual world still hasn't stopped talking about it. The video of Jungkook and Taehyung's embrace is trending on various platforms. Millions of views, millions of shares, and millions of tears fall again every time people rewatch it. Not a few wrote that the moment was not just a stage act, but a real form of the emotional connection that has been established for more than a decade between BTS and ARMY. "I grew up with them," wrote one 20-year-old fan, "and that night, I felt like I saw two brothers who could finally breathe a sigh of relief after such a long burden." ARMY knows that behind the camera spotlight and seemingly perfect fame, Jungkook and Taehyung have gone through so much that the public never fully knows. There are days when they have to smile even though the heart feels empty. There are nights when the pressure of popularity makes them almost lose their way. But what makes their relationship with ARMY different is how they strengthen each other, both on stage and behind the scenes. Taehyung is often the place where Jungkook rests, while Jungkook is the one who is always ready to calm Taehyung down when he gets tired of his sometimes cruel worldview. ARMY's true love is not born from blind fanaticism, but rather from empathy.